Chuck Soltz. You're watching the 505 on Racing Show. Welcome. Tonight we're going to talk about a NASCAR first, a doubleheader at a race track for their Cup Series. Results from Pocono for the other series as well. We'll mention a little bit about the SRX series and where they were, and some other NASCAR chat when we come back.
Inravio.com.
Welcome back. Pocono.
Pocono is always a fun race, boy. It's a big
race. Having a
one.
Cup there.
We used to go a lot, that's for sure.
Having the Cup Series, they race a Saturday and a Sunday. It's basically unheard of, but they wanted their two events. They got them back to back, and it was pretty successful.
Yeah.
And pretty successful. You know, and less wear and tear on the teams as well. You're going there for the whole weekend anyway.
Yeah.
This time they ran Saturday, they ran Sunday. They made the mess of it. And I think some of these tracks could maybe do that in the future. I think that's a good idea. It's good for the fans. And instead of dragging it out, like they'd have in other facilities, one of series would run Friday, another one would run Saturday, and run Sunday. And a lot of these teams, it's the same crew members that are working all the series.
Right, so it makes sense.
They're there
so
anyway.
It should be almost like a circus where they come in, they do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday with everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Lions, the Tigers, and the Bears, and they do whatever.
The only difference is the Lions, the Tigers, the Bears, and the Clowns don't pay to perform. Racing, it's the only business where they pay to be part of the show. I'll never understand.
Well, that's true. I mean, we just talked about that. We were talking about it before we started, but yeah, it's very, very true. Yeah. But it's like anything else. I mean, you know, how many people get paid to go out and play golf?
Nobody I know. It costs me.
Right. How many people get paid to go out and ride your bike on a Sunday morning? Not many.
Not many.
So it's one of those things. It's like it's part of what happens, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, people say, "Oh, you know, it's pay to play." Well, it's very true.
It is.
It's that way as well. I mean, how many times have you had a friend who's in a band and he's got to sell, 30 tickets? That's why he's got to sell 30 tickets because basically he's renting the venue so he can play.
Yeah.
And you got to come buy alcohol and the rest of the food and everything else in order to make it worth his while.
Yeah. Well, they get a piece of the bar. You know.
They don't get a piece of it. Basically, they get it's factored into the number.
Yeah.
They get a piece of the people that come through the door, you know.
Yeah, so. I remember those days. Days. Anyway, Pocono. The three series were there this weekend, and let's see who we're going to start off with tonight. We got the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. John Hunter Nemechek was the winner there, followed by Kyle Busch. Sheldon Creed was third, Tyler Ankrum fourth. Austin Hill was fifth, followed by Matt Crafton. And we had Todd Gilliland in seventh, Zane Smith in eighth, Ryan Preece in ninth, and Derek Kraus rounding out the top 10. The Xfinity Series is there as well. And we have Austin Cindric, the winner. They were Ty Gibbs second, Justin Allgaier third, Noah Gragson fourth, A.J. Allmendinger fifth, Daniel Hemrick sixth, Brandon Jones seventh, Jeb Burton eighth, Josh Berry ninth, and Myatt Snyder rounding out the top 10 there. The Cup Series was there Saturday and Sunday. So let's see which one we're going to show first. Let's see. Saturday's Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman was the winner there. Nice win for Alex Bowman. He won this because he was running second and somebody blew a tire.
That happens.
Kyle Larson blew his right front.
That happens.
Green flag waving coming off the final corner. Bam!
Man. I know, what a way to lose that.
Bam, and he had a very big lead.
He gets
So,
spun coming out of turn 4, too. You could that could happen, man.
So the winner there again was Alex Bowman, followed by Kyle Busch, William Byron third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Ryan Blaney was fifth, Kurt Busch was sixth, Joey Logano seventh, Kevin Harvick eighth, Kyle Larson salvaged a ninth, and Brad Keselowski 10th. So that nice running there. In race one, like I said earlier, Larson's winning streak had come to an end where his front tire went down, coming apart actually. Coming out of turn 3, he had a comfortable lead.
And he was doing well.
Oh, he's just the man to beat this year. And then when the tire let go, and
that's very that's a bummer.
Well, you know, it's and I've seen this happen often. The wheel gets hot from the brakes and the tire bead melts. You know, not that Goodyear's putting out a bad tire. It's
just you heating it up. It's gonna
heating it
go.
up.
And how many times have we seen that with Dale Earnhardt Sr. in the Daytona 500?
Yeah.
You know, there's just always something. It's like, you know, small things, you know.
Small things.
Flat tire on the last lap. You know, that's not the first time that's happened. That's for sure.
And race 2 at the Pocono for the Cup Series was definitely one on fuel mileage with top runners that were in the top 5 pitting with 2 to go. Denny Hamlin running out of gas, going down pit road with 1 to go. So, you know, that was definitely a fuel mileage
and Denny
race.
Hamlin is strong at Pocono.
Oh, yeah.
He's always been strong.
Always. And, you know, that's part of the race, and that's what makes it exciting, fun. Because, quite frankly, in my opinion, I thought the race was rather boring. It's not a track that's fan-friendly to the view, because that corner way out there is
the Long Pond Straight.
It's out there. And,
yeah.
And I can remember the first time I went to Pocono. I'm going to say in the late '90s for a Cup race. I was all excited. My friend was on the crew of Johnny Benson. His wife was a hospitality person for Jack Roush.
That's cool.
So when they said, "You want to watch the race from here?
You want to go to Pocono?" I was like, yeah, absolutely.
You want to sit on the pit box? Oh,
okay.
Yeah. And it was like the cars go by you, the sound, and you hear the and banging through the gears at the start.
Everything about it was good.
Then a minute later, here they come.
And you got to wait. It's very anticlimactic.
You know?
Yeah.
So it was, you know, I'll tell you what, the announcers did a good job focusing on the mileage and who's going to run out of gas.
You have to watch it on TV. It's one of those races where you really do have to watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Because it's very you know, you see a lot of excitement, and then all of a sudden nothing. You got to wait.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you got to do that for every lap. You know, and I worked at Pocono with my crew. We worked there, and we spent a lot of time at that track.
Yeah.
And so we would be on the front straightaway, right behind the grandstands, in the van, watching it on TV.
Right.
And when the cars came down the front straightaway, we would, air conditioning on, we'd roll the window down so we could hear them go, shoo, 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 and then roll the window back up, watch the rest of it on TV.
Yeah,
so they came back around again.
That's
because
just the way it is.
Yeah, it's a big track, man.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, even if you're up at the top in the hospitality suites, you still got to have binoculars to see what's going on in that corner, boy, out there in that other turn. It's out there.
Other than when I was working for NASCAR, of course, I was in the tower, in the control tower. I went, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years ago, as a guest of Sprint. And they had a wonderful suite, you name it, they had it right at the start-finish line. So even with binoculars, you had to look all the way out there,
And you had to look close.
Yeah, no.
Because not that it's a big deal, but there's things you're going to miss. I mean, guys racing, a rabbit goes running across the track. You know, or one year we had a deer.
We had a deer. I remember that.
Across the track, and you couldn't see him.
No.
Unless you were watching it on TV and caught the replay, you didn't see him. This year there was a fox out there.
It was a fox. Yep.
And he was just out there, laying out there in the sun, just sunning himself, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And so it's because it is Pocono. There's a lot of wildlife out there, and it's fun. It's interesting.
And it's one of the last remaining independently owned racetracks. that's not owned by Bruton Smith or International
Speedway
Speedway
Motorsports,
Corp.
yeah.
It's the last one. Even Martinsville has succumbed and sold out to NASCAR or International Speedway Corp. So,
Yeah.
it's just a nice.
Well, I don't think Doc Matteo is selling to anybody.
No.
He's a breed of his own, that guy.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But and I've been there dozens of times for events, and I've enjoyed every single time I've gone.
It's a clean spot. It really is.
It is.
It's a clean track. It's well run.
Yeah, everything's laid out nice.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but
They try their hardest to do everything that they do, and not just them, but the township and everything. I mean, on Sunday when you're going to the track, they close down the main artery there,
Yep.
and everything goes to that track.
yeah,
When we were working there, we would have old ladies like, "I'm just trying to get to church." Like, you can't get to church now because on Sunday everything goes to that track. We had tractor trailer trucks pulling in there. Because everybody from the main road, just everything goes in there.
Right.
They turn both sides of the main interstate, and everything goes right in there.
yeah. And you get off that exit,
And there's nowhere to go.
everything's going to the racetrack.
Everything's going to the racetrack. There's nowhere to go. And then it wasn't until the races are over, 6, 7 o'clock, when they turn everything around, and everything's going back out.
Everything's
So
going
you're
back
not getting out of here for another 6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not including the traffic time.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, they don't miss a beat. They really don't. I mean, I had 2 helicopters in the air telling us where to park cars.
Yeah.
That's how serious they are about what they're doing there.
So you even had a bear in the air.
Had 2 bears in the air, man.
Yes. But they got the 2 events in. I was wondering how that was going to work out. Guy wrecked some practice on Friday, and he still has 2 races to run in. But
Backup cars, extra haulers.
yeah.
Just stuffing those haulers full of cars.
Yep. So
They probably had a Saturday car and a Sunday car.
oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt, because it was separate qualifying and everything. So
Separate qualifying, different time of day, plus different weather.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it was all good. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We're going to talk about the SRX series. They had another event, and some other NASCAR news when we come back.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop. 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, what's
Set It
oh,
Up.
I said was gonna say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back to the show.
SRX series was at Eldorado dirt track this past Saturday night. A track owned by Tony Stewart.
That's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
So they go from dirt to asphalt.
Yeah. And it's each event has a local driver, or as they say, a ringer. And
A ringer for
Eldora
the local track.
was
Now,
no
of
different.
course, they're driving different cars now. They're not driving the asphalt cars for this.
Yeah, they're driving.
Dirt
it's like
cars.
the old. It's the car they ran at Stafford with dirt tires.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Oh yeah,
really?
yeah. Well, it is the
That's
same
it.
same exact
Just
car.
swap the tires out.
That's it. Maybe
Really?
change the shocks, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, every event has a ringer, a local guy. in this event, 5-time Silver Crown champ Cody Slauson was in the event, as well as former Formula One driver, X Games champion, and multi-time global race course champion Scott Speed was in this event.
Okay.
And the way it went down in Eldorado, of course, Tony Stewart was the winner, followed by Cody Swanson.
Go figure.
Helio Castroneves was third, Marco Andretti fourth, Paul Tracy fifth, Scott Speed was sixth, Tony Kanaan was seventh, Ernie Francis Jr. was eighth, Willie T. Ribbs ninth, Michael Rorschach 10th, Bobby Labonte 11th, and Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, Bill Elliott, was rounding out the top 12.
So now, let me get this straight. So he owns the track. Tell me he was not out there like testing his car out on his own track there, during the week, blah, blah, blah.
They don't have the 7-day rule like NASCAR has, for the touring series. So he could go
do whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants to do.
It's his own track.
It's like, it's his backyard, so to speak.
See, now, there's a different cut of jib right there, because I'll tell you what, if it was me, I would keep myself out of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I keep myself out of it. I mean, I get it. You're Tony Stewart. Of course, you're a name. You want to pull those people in.
Yeah.
It's all part of getting the people to come and watch and all the rest of that. But I keep my name out of it because
And it's like, it's not that if you win, you get all this money. More, it's everybody is paid the same amount.
Right. It's an exhibition thing as well.
Pretty
and it's
much.
really, there's no, points fund or anything like that. It's just, hey, come look at all these cool drivers doing something they don't normally do.
Yeah, so they were given, I believe each driver that participates gets $15,000. And it's similar, not money-wise, but a few years back at the old Riverside Park Speedway up in Agawam, Mass, Ben Dodge was announcer/promoter there, and he had come to the Figure 8 Club, Safer, and asked, why don't you guys come up and put on a show for us? And he goes, just ride around. I don't want people wrecking the cars. I know you got to go run Riverhead on Saturday, but come on up. Total purse is this, and however many cars show up, I will divide the money equally. And it really sounded like a good deal, and a good many of us were committing to go. And then something happened. There was some legal issues that came to play, and the race was canceled. So he was trying to promote that, and the Figure 8 cars were even on their local radio commercials. This Friday night, the late model Figure 8 car, blah, blah, blah. And then it just didn't happen. Would half have shown? That would have been a good show. There would have been 12, 14 cars back then because we had quite a few. But it would have been similar to this. We're all going up. We're trying not to wreck each other and
just have some fun.
And have a good time, promote your series.
Well, kind of that's what you want to do anyway. I mean, you don't want to cost each other money when you go racing. I mean, because that money it costs you is just more money out of your pocket.
Yep.
How many people have to sponsor dollars to fix those things?
I mean, Bill Batch, he remembers that. He was in. He was one of the guys that were going.
Yeah.
So, that would have been a fun time. But, like I said, some stuff happened legally, and I want to get into it. It's water under the bridge, but I was looking forward to that. And anytime you can get to go race somewhere else, you have a good time with that.
Yeah, it's different. It's fresh. I know we did that, too. We did a couple of Thompson runs, and we did the Flemington, New Jersey run, and it's fun.
Good stuff. Oh, yeah, good stuff. So this SRX, they apparently have a lot of sponsorship in their series with cars and motors, and CBS airing live the heat races and the features, as we're known to call them. They just call it the 100 lapper. And they did make some changes. They made them at Knoxville. Instead of the qualifying heat being 15 minutes, they lowered it to 12, which seemed to make a little bit of difference.
They're smoothing it out.
Yeah.
They're kind of massaging it as they go.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
It's brand new, so yeah.
Next year, hopefully, it continues. And,
maybe it'll grow a little bit.
Exactly. Maybe start a few more cars. Because
maybe they'll come down here and race around the parking lot. We can broadcast right out front.
If the CBS trailer could fit in there and put the camera on top, I'm sure I'm sure that, and like I said, Tony Stewart, not that he hates NASCAR. He had a lot of success in NASCAR. He didn't always get along with NASCAR.
Yeah. Well, this is very similar to the IROC series, which
exactly.
kind of is what they do, right? So the IROC series used to do oval track, and then they used to do a road course, and they didn't do dirt, and I remember, but I mean, they did different stuff because, you got Paul Tracy in there.
Yeah.
How many oval courses besides Indianapolis has Paul Tracy been on? Yeah. He's doing road courses, and, so some of those guys are not left-handers, they're just, road course guys.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of balance it out and give them his due, too,
And like the Indy and Formula One guys, they're saying that where we race, nobody's bumping. Nobody's giving you a shot in the bumper. They're not going wheel to wheel. And they're having trouble adjusting to that. They're not, they're not used to going into the corner and doing that. They're just sitting back, going in the corner.
Turning, right. The open wheel guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't bump.
No, they don't bump at all.
230 miles an hour, they don't bump.
Yeah. Bill Batch would love to see the SRX cars on the figure 8 course.
Sure, there you go. Of course, he's a figure 8 driver.
Oh,
I'll tell you
man.
what, how about we do a world demolition derby with them?
Yeah.
Put them in school buses.
Oh,
what do you
man.
think?
But it would be interesting to see that. And there are other places that run, figure 8 stock cars, and they run them in Indy, not at the big Indy, but across the street. They run them there. There's a lot of places, and I follow this group, and you look at the figure 8 guys, and the cars are so much different. Some of them, in some places, they're winged. They look like dirt late models. And then you go to other places and they look like they're like enduro cars. So it depends on what you're looking at and going for. But it's
well, that would be interesting though. I mean, if you put them on an oval or one or two ovals, if you put them on a road course, if you put them on dirt,
right.
I mean, I would even say put them in trucks and have them run across the desert somewhere.
Like the Baja.
with the jumps and stuff. Even if it's a small course, right? Wouldn't that be interesting? How about even this? Take them and stick the guys in drag cars. And let them go down the drag strip.
That's haunted. I tried that once.
It's a different, I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
No.
But you know what? How interesting would that be? Put them in a couple of boats, have them race around the bay?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. You want to race?
Yeah.
Show me how you race.
Show me how you race.
I mean, but you'd have to have a boat guy in there.
Have to have a boat guy.
Have to have a boat guy in there. He's on the cars and stuff, but then he'd get his due on the boat, right?
Or even,
I mean, what a monster truck guy? Who'd you put in there?
Oh, I don't know.
Could you imagine the guy, the girl that drives Gravedigger or Bigfoot or something in there?
Yeah.
That would be funny.
That would be interesting.
Then they got to do monster trucks and crash car. Forget that would be bad. That might not work out well.
And there should be, just my thought and opinion.
And there's guys out there that are saying, what about sprint cars, the little sprint cars? The midgets,
they're fun to drive.
Yeah,
But
the TQs and stuff.
To give these,
I know Harry's out there going, put them in TQs. Let's see what they
put
got.
them in a TQ. To give these Indy guys a fair shake, why don't they have some open wheel?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you put them in a TQ or something and do a road course, put them on open wheel cars.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It could be Indy Lights or something, or.
Yeah, I drove a TQ at Wall a few times, and I'll tell you what, on the big track, now you race them on the infield and it's flat. I don't know how I would have did, but that was fun. That was like going to an amusement park.
Well, because they stick to the track.
They stick. The banking, I believe the banking's 31 degrees at Wall.
Yeah, but you also weren't pushing it. You weren't on the edge. Because you could loop that thing too.
You can, but this set up pretty good. They turn themselves. You just have to. I know when I was getting my instructions, because how many times have you driven a TQ? Never. Okay, this is what you got to do. When you come into turn 1, your left front wheel needs to be on the white line. About 3/4 of the way through the turn, you want it to come up a little bit, and you want to be able to almost, because you have arm restraints, you almost want to be able to touch the wall. When you get to turn 3, there's a mark, you got to bring it down at that left front wheel.
To get to the line.
It's like falling off your roof. Because and your stomach goes up inside, and then it drops and bounces off your pelvic bone.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything. If you're by yourself and you can just take your own line, you're going to go in tight on the entry, and you're going to come out and just let the car drift up because you want to carry as much speed as you can.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it was fun. So I was not that I was skeptical about this series. I just thought like,
what, the SRX series?
yeah, let's see where this goes.
I don't know. With the names they got there, how can it not be? How can it be that bad? But I would love to see them expand that out and put some different races.
Without a
That'd
doubt.
be interesting.
Without a doubt. So, Tony Stewart, he did the right thing here, and with help from Ray Everham and some other people behind the scenes. It's just the way they come, and the tracks. Of course, he owns Eldorado. They're going to treat him like gold, but the tracks.
Yeah.
Build it up, make it up, and
put them on motorcycles. Have them do a motocross track. How about that?
and you buy it.
That wouldn't be good. I can't see Bill or Willie T. Ribbs.
Willie T. Ribbs, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to work out well.
But when you have credibility with CBS Sports, they're bringing their equipment down, they're televising it live, and
yeah, but ultimately the idea is just how many eyeballs are they going to get,
right?
And they know that with those drivers doing what they're doing, they're going to get some eyeballs. I mean, look at that. You got some guys from every form of racing there.
Oh yeah, and Willie T. Ribbs, he's driven everything but an ambulance, and I think he took a couple of rides in that.
I'm sure he did.
But he was more of a road course guy, and he drove in the Xfinity Series. He drove for Roush. He drove some Formula One. So yeah. He's been around the block a few times, and Bill Elliott, he's up there in age.
He's Bill Elliott.
But he's still Bill Elliott. Mm-hmm. So, and Bobby Labonte, he's still running modifieds down south, so, he's still competing in something. And I'll tell you what, when I saw that he was running tour-type modifieds down south, I was like, here's the guy who was a Cup champion,
mm-hmm.
and he's racing modifieds, obviously not for the money,
for the fun.
He's having a blast.
Yeah, but he's also got the money to spend it on it and have a blast.
You would think.
When you're trying to rub two nickels together, it's not a blast anymore.
No, it's not a blast anymore. You got to save your tires because you can't have any spares laying back and that kind of stuff.
Take the green flag and pull off.
Yeah,
so you can
we both done that.
Make a couple bucks.
That's when my daughter was driving my figure eight car. I said, just ride around until you're crisscrossing and pull out. Caution's going to come out. It's invariable. Somebody's going to spin. You go back. And we made money. I was on a tire deal from another competitor who only put 30 laps on his tires, and they had new ones because he was on a real tire deal. So we got his tires. To us, they were like scuffs. And I had a fuel sponsor, and Trailer Transport towed the car to and from the track for me. I'm already there with the other car, so the car made money just riding around. She never broke anything. Maybe a couple of power steering hoses, power steering belts. But other than that,
well, that's great because you guys getting the figure eights got paid a lot more than everybody else.
Yes, we did.
But there was no making money in the division I was in. The only way to make it was from the sponsors, and I did that. But,
I don't know.
But still, that's not an easy task.
No.
You spend a lot of time putting into that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the figure eight guys here in Long Island are getting paid to win anymore. I'm out of the loop with that. But I could remember when they listed the money earned of the drivers, like the top 10, a figure eight guy was third or fourth in money earned. And they were getting, I believe, like $500 to win, which was more than the late models. And the modified guys were getting $1,450 to win. So for a figure eight guy to be like fourth or fifth of money earned, you're consistent. You finish in the top 5 every week, and you finish last in the figure eights. At least when I was running down there, my daughter, you finished last in the figure eights. And we're talking about Riverhead. You made more money than the winner in the blunderbuss and the trucks, just for taking the green.
We made $25 for taking the green.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That didn't even pay for your pit fee to get in the gate for the driver.
No, it didn't.
Forget about gas money or anything else. And
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you know, when you don't want to start adding all of that stuff up and
No,
realize
it
what
just.
it's costing.
But like I've said to
And
people.
how many guys have a truck payment because they got to tow the car to the track?
Exactly.
You start adding up all of these ancillary expenses, boy. It's a life
It
to go
is.
ahead and race.
It is.
For a hobby.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, get some news coming out of Hendrick Motorsports when we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8 Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hi, I'm Remington. I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to the show.
Yes, yes. A few weeks back, we had reported that Eddie DeHunt had some problems. Was arrested, was suspended from NASCAR, lost his job at Hendrick Motorsports. Well, former Long Island Eddie DeHunt was reinstated recently by NASCAR and by Hendrick Motorsports after charges on a May 12th arrest of misdemeanor battery of an unborn child, and there's Eddie, and misdemeanor assault of a woman. Well, he was arrested and he was looking at jail time for this. And many of us, when this was reported, we had said, you're innocent until proven guilty. Why is he banned from NASCAR? Why is he suspended from Hendrick? Because a lot of times with domestic situations, and I'm no lawyer, but a lot of times it's a he said, she said. Mm-hmm. And so here's the guy, he gets hauled off in cuffs, arrested, and there's all his business out there because
They were erring on the side of caution.
Exactly.
Which is what they do. Because it is a business.
Well,
and the last thing I want to do is be associated with something because, they got big dollar sponsors they got to worry about.
Yeah.
So they jump right on it and say, all right, we just take a, leave of absence, if you will.
There you go.
And let's get this sorted out.
Well, the case was dismissed. The reason? Lack of evidence. It was like they were throwing him because he allegedly hit, punched, smacked, pushed, shoved, whatever, his, we'll say, domestic partner who was pregnant. So that becomes double. That becomes like a double-edged sword there. And many of us in our lifetime have had arguments with our spouses, our girlfriends, our boyfriends, whatever. And it's like the first person to dial 911. they're the plaintiff automatically.
Well, that's true because that's exactly what it is.
So
They're
anyway,
the one making the complaint.
Exactly. I come from a place where you take care of it in-house. But, whatever.
You come from a place where now you dial 911 with your finger over the other one button,
Exactly.
waiting so you could be the first one to call. That's what you've been doing.
So, now for those who know, Eddie DeHunt came out of Long Island, longtime crew chief for Roger Roxy, who's been a guest of our show many, many times. Started in the mini modifieds as a driver at the old ISO Speedway. So I'm glad that he was cleared, and I'm glad that NASCAR reinstated him. And I'm glad that Rick Hendrick said the door's on.
Come on back to work. Yeah.
No questions asked. So
that's good.
That's a good thing.
We don't want anybody getting a black eye over there.
No. It's not a good thing.
No, it's not good for anybody.
But we have some news coming out of NASCAR that the NASCAR Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon was named the vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, and will leave Fox after the 2021 season as an announcer. Gordon will be the number 2 man in charge. There's Jeff Gordon with Rick Hendrick wearing his NASCAR Hall of Fame jacket. In 1999, Jeff Gordon, while still competing, became an equity owner of Hendrick's, one of his cars, and that was the car driven by Hall of Fame driver Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, which goes all the way back to 2001. I knew he was a partner, I just didn't know it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I remember that's when he brought Johnson on, and that was he's been an owner of that car for a while. Since the day one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now Jeff Gordon. He was not the typical NASCAR guy. He came from the West Coast, running the big sprint cars, and came into stock cars, and was in '92 as a driver. His first race at Atlanta Motor Speedway in '92 was Richard Petty's last race. It's kind of funny. It was like the changing of the guard.
Change of the guard, yeah.
And he picked up off right away. Affectionately called his team the Rainbow Warriors because of their colors with the DuPont sponsorship. So Jeff Gordon, he did a nice job. He announced his booth, in my opinion. A lot of people on social media, I call them keyboard cowboys. I can't listen to him, all his stories. But you know what? That guy's getting paid a lot of money to do that while you're sitting on your couch drinking beer.
Well, let's not forget that he also had a really good crew chief to bring him along, Ray Everhand.
Yes, Ray Everhand was
aces. He's the big tuna, and for him to be paired up with that guy, that's pretty perfect.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So that's and then he saw an opportunity there because you're not going to be a driver forever.
No.
And how much are you going to win? How long? What's your longevity in the whole sport? So by being a car owner, especially of Hendrick, how do you not get involved with Rick Hendrick and say, let's do something here?
Yeah, let's do something.
And Rick saw that too. Because ultimately, who are you going to pass this to? Rick's not getting any younger.
Yeah, I believe Rick Hendrick's like 71 years old. So.
Yeah, so you got to have somebody to pick up the torch and run with it.
Yeah.
And a smart businessman is going to see that. And you've got somebody who's got the potential to come on and bring it to maybe to the next level, or at least keep it going.
Yeah.
You want to jump on that.
Yeah.
You don't want to let that go, because the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be. And you might not have that opportunity all the time.
And I always say that.
And we've seen that just even recently.
Yeah, and even out of racing, you look at these big corporate companies that started way back when. You look at J.C. Penney. There came a point in time where Mr. Penny said, "I gotta turn this over to somebody."
You gotta. You can't do it all on your own.
No.
And if you hold on tight and you think you're gonna make something out of it, or something's gonna pop up, that's when those things surprise you.
Yes.
So
come back and bite you in the neck. So congratulations to Jeff. It's a good thing for him.
I think it's a great opportunity, and it's.
I know that a lot of people felt that when he retired from racing, he was still at the top of his game, but you don't know what goes through a person's head, or the conversations behind closed doors at home. And he got out while he still could walk and, talk.
While the getting was good, and you got kids at home, and you start thinking about things.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody that's watching.
Yeah.
I mean, as you get older, maybe you weren't claustrophobic before. Maybe now all of a sudden you're getting a little claustrophobic.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not liking elevators or planes as much as you used to, or heights. Or as we get older, are we getting smarter or getting more sensitive? Or I don't know what's going on. But as you get older, all of a sudden these little things you never really thought twice about.
Yeah.
Getting in a race car might be one of them.
But you know, it's funny, and I was just watching video of my season last year running the vintage mod, and I'm looking at things and I'm watching. And okay, I took that one out and I put some tapes in from my old days at the Riverhead and ISOP, and I'm like, night and day. It was like, I'm older now. I don't want to get hurt.
That's exactly what it is.
You know, I'm going to wreck this guy and wreck myself to gain 1 spot or 2 points in the point standings or another $5 at the payoff window. And like I said, I drove that car, and Bill, you should have been racing with me now because I didn't have a scratch on that thing.
Well, you would have been, you know, it could be that when you were younger, you raced with more tenacity. You weren't concerned about putting a scratch or a dent. The idea was to win and get to the front. And now you're a little more concerned about these things. You know, I'll tell you what, I bought another race car, and the race car was the same series as before. And so the roll cage was the same as before. The only difference is that the door bar was like 2 inches higher. The lower door bar was 2 inches higher. I was a bigger guy at the time.
Right.
But I'm laying in bed one night and I'm like, that car's tighter than the old car. I had to go down to the shop the next day and get in there because I was a little concerned I'd be a little claustrophobic getting in there. It's the same inside, but the door bars getting in, the window opening was a little smaller, and it makes you wonder because the door bar was down from the roof. My old car, the door bar was up tighter into the roof, whereas this one was actually down. You could see it. And I'm like, okay, You know what I mean? So it kind of puts a little bit of a mind spin on you sometimes. And that's just something stupid that happened to me, but it could be anything. And at some point, you're like, you know what? You get up and you're like, maybe I'm not pushing that pedal as hard as I should be. You know?
And you know, it's funny. It took me a long time to learn that you don't need to go into the corners like you just got shot out of a cannon. And I remember downtown George Brown. If he would have raced consistently every year, year after year, he would have probably had the most wins out of anybody. You know, in figure
that old
racing.
40 coupe he had.
Yeah. So he's going to go out and practice, and I got to follow his line. And I'm going up. I come off the corner. I mash the gas pedal. Now he's already gone, but he was getting on different. Then all of a sudden he goes into the corner, and I thought he was playing games with me because he went in so easy. I'm slamming on the brakes. The car's all out of control. It took me about 6 or 7 laps to learn that going into that corner softer got you out quicker because I was scrubbing off all the speed. But that was one of the things when I was younger racing. It was mash the pedal, mash the brake, or use the guy in front of you as your brakes, you know, or you go into a corner on the inside, 8 turned a lot better than 4, you know.
That's the mindset, and it's one of those things that you just don't realize. I mean, I raced for years, you know, and you know what we were always told: 7,200 is like what you should be tacking at on the tack, right? So you know, I raced for years. I'm going into the turns, you know, going in low, going in hard, the whole thing, you know, and coming out as fast as I can. And it wasn't until I bought another car, and now I got a different car under me. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out there and just try this thing out. You know, so I go out there and I'm just kind of easily going around and just feeling it out. Not even trying to race, just going out there just, you know, nice and easy, the whole thing. I come off the track after practice, and NASCAR official, it wasn't you, somebody else standing in front of me, boop, stops me, comes to the window and says, I just want you to know you set the fastest track time. And I'm like, what? I get back to the pits and I hit the memory tech. I did like 5,400 RPM. I'm like, how is this possible? And then I realized I'm racing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be spinning the tires.
Yeah.
Because spinning tires aren't grabbing the track.
Nope.
You know, so it's all a matter of how much power you can get down to the track. You can have the most powerful motor in the world if you can't get the power down to the track.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah. And I was always told that, not that I was in this position often, but you got the lead, you go just keep it low and slow, throw the rhythm off. And I can remember losing races because I want to blow the guy in second away. I want to get him off my bumper. And I'm going through the corners sideways, and 2 to go. I'm out of tires, And
if you're going through sideways, believe me, I spent a lot of time dirt tracking on that track, and you know that.
Yeah.
And that was not the fastest way around
No.
that. Even though you thought you were going a million miles an hour, that was not the fastest way.
No.
And I realized that the slow and steady winning that race, boy, that really what did it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And you just got to it's all about smooth.
Yep. It's all about smooth.
Keep a nice line and just keep it smooth and,
Yep. Whatever. Hey, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Calverton, Long Island situation with drag racing when we come back.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mark Well. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming You Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Welcome back, everybody. We've always talked about racetracks closing, drag strips closing, English Town closed, Adcats closing. It's leaving these guys with these drag cars to race in the street or find an industrial park where they could sneak back in and go racing. And I know back in the 70s when I was playing with these things, they had just extended Route 231 in North Babylon from the Southern State Parkway, almost like a bypass to Deer Park Avenue by the high school, down to Main Street. So we knew that the police that worked 4 to 12 left the sector at 11:45. By the time they got to the precinct, got out of the car, got the stuff, the midnight to 8 guys come. So we had a half-hour window, and we would race down 231. It wasn't even open for traffic yet, and we'd go racing down 231. And I remember a good buddy of mine that I worked with, Jackie Sullivan, he caught the guardrail when airborne. I mean, airborne. And when he landed, his legs, his lower legs, hit underneath the dashboard, and he broke both his legs. But everybody scattered. Because, the police are on the way, they're going to see this. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to get the silver bracelet, so we all scatter. He ends up in the hospital, he heals and all that kind of good stuff. And even back then, we're talking 45 years ago, there wasn't a lot of places to go racing. Yeah, we had National Speedway, a regular NHRA type of drag strip. They had the 8th.
And you had West Hampton.
You had West Hampton.
And you had Islip.
Had Islip, which was an 8th.
But you just never made it to the track.
Right. So
it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. So there's a place in West Babylon, I'm not going to say where, that they go to this day and they go drag racing. And if you're ever on this road, you see the burnouts. and they have a little white line painted across the road. And for the longest time, and I'm going to say the longest time, trying to get a drag strip built on Long Island, and the old Grumman Calverton facility where they tested the F-15s and whatnot, just sat there. The runways are more than long enough. And those people had fighter jets flying over their houses, testing, maneuvering every day. Well, drag racing is going to at least take a positive step, and originally scheduled for June 19th and 20th. It got postponed and put back, not because they were trying to stop it, but it's some birds that nest there. It's their mating season, so they didn't want the noise. So September 25th and 26th will be the event. It's sold out, so if you don't have a ticket, you're not in. But the Riverhead Town Board that is responsible for zoning and whatnot, they approved 2 racing events at the facility on the runways. All the safety conditions have been met. The environmental situations have been met. Even different ways in, avoid Main Road, Calverton. They want you to come in the back way. So it looks like they're going to do this right. And it's an outside group that's promoting the event. And all I'm going to say to the guys that are participating, save the race for the racetrack. Don't be pulling out, doing burnouts down the road, down Wading River Road, down 25, down the back road that brings you into the facility. Show the town and the locals that you're the professionals that you are. And I can remember a certain group was having like these, I guess, car shows and awareness things, and one of the places they had it at, because when these, I'm going to call them knuckleheads for the lack of a better term, felt they had to show their stuff when they left, and when peeling out up the road, squiggling around out of control.
Well, they have to show off. I mean, you got the car, you want to show off. I get it, but
so don't do the same stuff after this Calverton event, because then it'll be the last one. And this is big, because that facility is sitting there doing nothing, and I was involved with the group that tried to put a racing facility there, and we had everything, and we got beat out by a indoor ski jump that was bankrupt before they even opened. This is big, and for our drag racing friends, this is big. Put on a good show, no fighting, no drinking, no drunk stuff. And again, the burnouts at the end, and that's what the people, when they went to the town board, these guys, they leave this place, they leave it a mess, and they're skidding up the road and screeching the wheels. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That is a concern for sure. I mean, it's been over 30 years now when I proposed putting a drag strip and an oval track there. Before anybody had it there, when the Navy still had it, after Grumman was just about almost ready to leave it. Yeah. And we proposed it with the Riverhead Town Board. They were for it at the time because of the way the board was situated. The people that were on the board were all for it. The only downside to that is that the amount of work that would have to go into really making that safety compliant. That's my only concern. And I don't know how they're able to make it safety compliant and be able to pay for that based on the entry fees and the spectators. Well, I'd like to know what they did. Yeah. Because, without bringing in a handful, a ton of jersey barriers, you still have to have a place for the spectators to sit. Yeah. There's a lot of things you have to do. It's, this is, and if you've been there, and I have, on that runway, there's nothing there. Right. There's no facilities there at all. Yeah. There's nothing. You have to bring a lot in. Yeah. Even just getting water in there. What are you going to do to get water in there? Yeah. You got to have, there's a lot of concerns.
I was reading on the proposal way back in the spring when this was first proposed to the Riverhead Town Board, and drinking water was available. There's fire hydrants that are available in case of a fire. The fire department is on board for this. The barriers supposedly are already there and have been, and not from the sanctioning group, but from when the Navy owned the facility. So everything is in place. The only thing that they didn't say was where the grandstands were going to be. So I'm sure that's all in their proposal that the Riverhead Town Board has set aside to approve, because it was on hold for like some of the safety conditions that you just mentioned, all fixed. And the group that's doing this is just not a bunch of guys with drag cars. This is a group of individuals who are incorporated and have set up these shows all over the country. So it's not a fly-by-night deal. So
they should know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. And my only concern, and I'm going to say it again, you knuckleheads that want to show off when the show's over, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, it's not an NHRA event, obviously. And
they are touting as an NHRA event. They are touting.
NHRA type, yes.
I didn't say type.
Yeah, it's not an NHRA sanction.
Well, they do have it in the advertising.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
But it's an eighth of a mile as well. It's not a quarter of a mile.
Oh, I thought it was a quarter.
I believe it's an eighth. Now, I don't understand why it's
1,500 feet to run the track is being like, that's a little bit more than a quarter with a slowdown. We'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll have the details.
I thought they actually had that on social media.
Yeah.
That it was an eighth. Somebody asked a question. They said it was an eighth, I believe.
It'll be interesting, and I hope it works out, because that property is just sitting there doing nothing, just doing nothing. And there's a lot that could be done there. And as you said, you were involved with a group that was going to do that. I was involved with this now defunct organization that was going to do it. And
actually, the guy that wanted me to do it was on the Riverhead Town Board.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we were looking at a different property on Long Island that we couldn't put the package together.
Right.
And he was a real estate agent. He said, hey, what about Calverton?
Hey.
Let's do it there.
Yeah.
He was all for it. He was all gung-ho.
Yeah. And the other place that we were looking at, the group I was involved with, and we had the money. We had a $22 million line of credit. So we had the money to do this. So we actually went to Yaphank, New York, which the property, it was approximately 20 acres. You had a mulch facility on one side, the town dump for Brookhaven Town on this side, and you had the Yaphank minimum security jail staring you at the face. And they just, they're not in my backyard, people stepped in. And that property is still sitting the way it was when we tried to do this, 25, 30 years ago. So it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. But because nobody's building new racetracks, they're all getting torn down. They're all getting torn down.
It's hard to make a go of it. It's not an easy thing. I mean, if Englishtown, New Jersey closes down, then obviously there's not a money maker to be had there. And I know that we had, with that one group, we had a meeting. I brought in a financial advisor, and I know we sat for hours and we talked about it. And actually, it was interesting because as we're talking about it, they kept bringing up, well, Englishtown's doing great. Englishtown's doing great. And 2 weeks later, Englishtown closed down.
Right.
And the receipts from Englishtown was literally in the low thousands.
Yeah.
When I say thousands, I mean a couple of thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, that was their profit. There was no money to be had there.
Yeah.
It was just, we're doing it and, almost breaking even.
Yeah.
Basically breaking even. And that's not what you want to be doing in the business, especially when everything around you is going up. Right. Your expenses, your taxes, and everything else. I mean, you can't afford to be doing
insurance, the whole bit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. And I can't, guys and gals, I can't stress this enough. When the racing's over, it's over. There's no burnouts out of the place. There's no burnouts down the road. Listen, you lost your run. you ran. It's all bracket racing, so you got your one shot. You did it. Okay, you had a good time. Don't try to win the race home. That's all I'm saying, folks. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
So when is the date supposed to be?
The date is September 25th and 26th.
Wow.
Yeah.
They pushed it back quite a way.
Yeah, they pushed it back. They pushed it back a couple months. And they're saying it's because of the nesting and then the birds, and it kind of makes sense to me. But I don't think the birds in the nest were bothered when the A-14s were cruising around back
While
in
they
the
were
80s.
there, I'm sure the birds weren't there. I'll tell you what, I actually I go out there and we ride bikes in that facility, and it's different than what you could imagine.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of businesses in there. They took over a lot of the buildings that are in there, and it's building up, but it's changed. But there's still spots like the runway is still used for planes.
Yeah.
You know, Skydive Long Island uses it. They land planes there.
And that's still listed as an emergency runway.
Yeah, well, it's still a viable runway, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and before we go, congratulations to all the grads, class of 2021, whether it was from preschool, grammar school, middle school, high school, college. So congratulations. We're kind of back to normal now, so people are having like semi-normal graduations, not like you had to do it virtual. So good luck and only wish all the grads the very best in their endeavors. And hope everybody had a nice Father's Day. I know Father's Day is always an interesting time of year for many of us, especially those of us who our fathers are no longer with us, so to speak. So it was all good. And next week when we come, we're going to talk about the tire shortage in the weekly series, in the NASCAR weekly series across the country. We're eventually getting canceled.
It's changing the racing schedule.
So, you know, be prepared to tune in next week. We'll have some facts and details on that. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to log in and watch and then participate. And wherever your endeavors will bring you this weekend, please be safe, please be careful. We'll see you on Monday. Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Inravio.com. Inravio.com.